Good evening, good evening. It is Tuesday the 17th of December 2013. It's a week and a day to go before you get to unwrap what's under your tree. Oh yes. And it's the day after, the day before, of course, and it's the day before tomorrow, where even more things will become visible. Who knows? We've got a little bit of an update on that coming up. We've got a show as yours. I've picked out 12 pictures from this year, and I'd like you guys to tell me which one you'd like to win something. I've not decided what it is yet, but the person will win something. And in part 2, I've got a little Juicey Juicey, and we're going to look at this here resistance meter. Yes, interesting. But all that is after the titles, and here they are. The scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquid. Yes, it is Vaper scene on Tuesday the 17th of December, and I'm chuckling to myself because I actually did some Christmas titles and I played in the wrong ones. But there you go, never mind, I should have deleted the other ones, shouldn't I? Yes, it is Vaper scene, and it is the 17th of December. And if you've been under a rock somewhere or out of the country or just asleep, you wouldn't have known what happened yesterday with the European Union trilogue. And there's been various information from all different quarters coming across and confusing a heck of a lot of people because no one knows exactly what is happening. All hopefully will be resolved tomorrow, in so much as we'll know exactly what we're up against, and that will be on Dave's show. But a couple of the stories that came today in the European Voice. The provisional deal would allow refillables for now, but member states can impose national bans. The members of the European Parliament and member states reached a provisional deal on a revised European tobacco rules last night. That was the 16th, obviously, with a tentative settlement on the controversial issue of e-cigs. And the third paragraph there, the deal would allow e-cigs with a nicotine content below 20 milligrams per milliliter or 18 milligrams per unit to be regulated for general sale rather than treating them as medicinal products as proposed by the European Commission, according to sources who were at the meeting. And if I go to page 2 of that particular report, British Liberal MEP Chris Davis, who has been an advocate for e-cigs in Parliament, said the restrictions on their sale are a price worth paying to secure agreement across the whole of Europe. I'm not sure if we all agree with that. We have seen a massive turnaround in the approach towards e-cigs, and this is very much to be welcomed, he said. These things can save lives because smokers find them pleasurable to use. Yes, we do find them pleasurable to use, and a lot better than the alternatives. But Rebecca Taylor on her page today has said this. Significant ground has been won in the rejection of Europe-wide medicines licensing, but the decision to potentially ban refillable cartridges and devices in future would be a backward step. And she goes on the second page to say second and third hand generation e-cigarette devices, which are used by about 80% of long-term e-cigarette consumers, allow users to mix and match their desired flavours and nicotine strengths. They are a key part of what attracts someone to quit smoking tobacco and switch to e-cigarettes, and to stick to vaping rather than go back to smoking. And the last paragraph there, the fight is now on to show that it would not be justifiable to ban refillable cartridges on health and safety grounds. Now tomorrow there is another meeting, and there's a press conference planned, which is at 11:30, and I guess that's European time, so that'd be 10:30 over here, and we will be watching that very closely. And tomorrow night's VT Talk will have as much information as is humanly possible to bring you on what that means. What we do know is that rebuildables are definitely the way forward. So if you're not into rebuildables yet, you should be getting into them, I think. Yes, and also how to mix your own liquid, because that might be the only way you're going to get the strength you need. And of course, if you stock up before any such legislation comes into force in 2 to 3 years' time. So anyway, more on that with Dave and Sav tomorrow, I am sure. And I'm going to move on to lighter things, and we'll leave all the heavy stuff to tomorrow. Yes, because it's not all doom and gloom, is it? No, it's Christmas next week, and I think we need a little bit of time off. We need to eat, drink and be merry, and then come January, the fight continues. And even harder than we have been this year, we've really got to step it up in January and show them what we're made of. And if it gets passed in one place, it can still get overturned in another. So the fight is not yet lost. Yes, we need to keep fighting. But enjoy Christmas first. Open your presents, get rid of the batteries, and then come January, fighting hats go on. Right, let's look at the final Show Us Yours for 2013. And who's going to win? Find out in about 2 minutes. And now it's time for Show Us Yours, sponsored by Flavour Art UK.
Show Us Yours, sponsored by Flavour Art UK.
Yep, that was the last Show Us Yours of 2013, and I've picked a Christmas winner, and that winner is... it's Ian Richardson, who sent this lovely picture in last week. Yes, I thought it was quite nice, that. Nice to have a Christmas picture to end the show on for this year. And if you would like to go into the mix for next year, not exactly sure how long I'm going to keep it going for, but Vaper scene at vaportrails.tv, and you've got until about the 6th of January to get any pictures into me. And what I've done is I've gone through all the pictures for the year, and I've picked out 12 that I like. And what I like to do is play those 12 picks, and then amongst yourselves in chat, just put a number in between 1 and 12, and if I can get the general consensus during the ads, that person will win something else. I'm not quite sure what it is yet, but I will come up with something. So here is the list of picks that I've picked for you to choose. So there are the 12 picks, and I'm going to go into the ads now, and if you can remember which picture you like the best, let me know in chat. Otherwise, I'm going to pick one at random. So let's go to the ads, and when we come back, I've got a little Juicey Juicey for you, and we'll look at the resistance tester. See you in 2.
Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquid.
iVaper and iVaper Elixir, based in Yorkshire, for your e-cig needs. That's iVaper.co.uk and iVaper-elixir.co.uk. iVaper and iVaper-elixir.co.uk, proud sponsors of vaportrails.tv.
now it's back to Vaper Scene on Vapor Trails TV. Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health e-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquid.
Hello, welcome back to part 2. I was just watching chat there, the numbers scrolling past. Disco Des, 37. What you like. I had a request there to play it again, so I'm going to play them one more time. It looks like it's between 2 at the minute. So here's the vid one more time. Of course, the storm. If you're watching on catch up, then you won't see what's happening in chat. Lots of people with lots of numbers, and it looks to me like number 9 from what I can see with the numbers going past. So yes, I think number 9 has it, and number 9 is, if I can see, I'll tell you who number 9 is in a minute. I'll have to look back and see who it was. So what we'll do is I will go into my little VT on the ohm tester. And when we come back, I'll let you know who number 9 actually was. See you in a mo. Here I have a little toy that I picked up from one of the Chinese vendors. And it is the vendor that pretends to be fast, but as we all know, it is quite slow. And I bought this about 6 weeks ago, and it arrived about 10 days ago. And as you can see, it has a 510 and Ego connection, and also an 808 connector. And it is in fact a resistance or ohm tester. And it simply has, if we open up the back, 2 AA batteries, and it's just El Cheapo batteries. You can see all the electronics in there have been sealed quite well with a plastic based glue. Put the back on, and then you have your little switch, which is just here, as you can see. You have your little switch, and you put your little device on, and it will give you what your resistance is. So let us do just that. I re-wicked the Magoo with some resistance and non-resistance, and I've done it this time with just 1 wick. So we'll just screw that in to the connector. Like I said, it is 510 and Ego. So that is now on, and if we then flick the button, it will tell us. If I do it that way around, you will see it. It's telling us that it is 2.05 ohms resistance, and it kind of flicks. So 2.4, 2.5. That's what it's saying. So let us see what the MVP V2 says, because as you know, this checks resistance as well. So we'll screw it into the end and press our 2 buttons, and it is saying a 1.9. So the MVP is saying 1.9. And we'll also have a look at this on the SVD to see what happens. And the SVD is saying 1.8. So there's a 0.1 difference between the SVD and the MVP, and there's a difference between this tester and the MVP and this tester and the SVD. That's on the re-wicked Magoo. So let's try an iClear 30. Put the iClear 30 on this. We'll do it this way first. And the iClear on the SVD is saying 2 ohms. Show that again. There you go. That's showing us 2 ohms on the SVD. And we'll take it off the SVD and we'll put it on the iTest MVP. Both of the buttons, and that is also saying 2 ohms. So what do you think this is going to say? We'll put it on here, and that is saying 2.22. So it's basically 10% ish. It's approximately 10% out to what the SVD and what the MVP say. And just for a laugh, I'll put this on the VTR as well, and we'll see what the VTR says. And the VTR says 2.1. So the 3 actual devices are within a small amount of each other, if not the same. And our little device here is basically 0.1 out. So it's not dead on balls accurate, but I've seen these selling for about £15 in the UK. This was about £7. Obviously you have to wait for it to turn up, which is always the case when buying overseas. I don't know whether or not these are any better. The UK ones are any better than that, but to get a kind of general feel for a coil that you've just built without having to put it on one of your devices and possibly causing it any issues, is it worth buying? Probably, to be fair. Even at the £15 mark, if it will save you from putting it on a device and maybe blowing that device instead of blowing this, then all well and good. But yes, interesting, and I shall do a little piece on resistances and different types of wires and things in the new year. But that's it for the ohm tester, the resistance tester. Let's go back to the studio. And it is back to me, and yeah, I was just watching chat there. I thought I'd do a piece on this as opposed to using a multimeter, because this is easily pocketable and you're having to faff around. And after I did all that and edited it all together, I thought I should have had my multimeter out and tested it as well. And no, I'm not sponsored by Inikin. That was just what I had to hand when I was filming it. But yes, I'll have a look in the new year and different resistances, different wires, because I think we're going to have to be looking at lots more rebuildables in the future, aren't we? So I've got a vast amount of different wires and things, so I can do some testing on those. Now the winner of the picture was number 9, so that is the MotoGP Ducati, and that was by Fabio Passaro, way back, about the middle of the year, I think that one on show as yours. So yes, I will be contacting Fabio if you're watching, and if you're not watching, I'll be contacting Fabio and arrange something I don't know what yet. I'll think of something. And obviously, Ian, who won this week, I'll be emailing you after the show. So, that was a little resistance tester. And now I've got for you a little Juicey Juicey. And it's one of those, as I say in this bit of VT, it's a Marmite juice. You either love it or you hate it. See what you think.
Juicy Juicy, Juicy Juicy, Juicy Juicy. Welcome to my little Juicy Juicy. And we're talking about the Vape Monkey Spider Venom, which I got from Midlands Vaping. It's a strange concoction, I have to say. The picture on the bottle is of a couple of spider fangs. And for somebody who doesn't like spiders, it's not a particularly nice picture to look at. But the juice is rather interesting, shall we say. It's a cinnamon. The overriding flavour you get from this is cinnamon. It's got a real sweetness when you take the big mouthful of the Vaper. It really lingers as well. So, as you know, cinnamon is one of those juices that generally destroys polycarbonate tanks. However, the iClear 30 is yet to be affected by it, so the concentration of the cinnamon flavouring mustn't be too bad, hence it's still in one piece. Not even any cloudiness on the iClear 30, which is handy, but I do know that I will have to give this a really good clean in the ultrasonic and probably replace the wicks entirely, because the flavour will stay, and it is the overriding flavour in this juice. It really is one of those kind of Marmite flavours where you either love it or you hate it, but I'm kind of in between the two, because I do like a cinnamon vape and I do like a sweet vape. This is both, and I think for me I wouldn't be able to use this for very long. A couple of tokes now and again, really. And I've been using this for a couple of weeks, and I've kind of been having a few pulls and kind of getting the flavour every so often before I did this, because I couldn't really sit there for half an hour and vape on it. It is nice, it's just really sickly. It really is. And I've got half a bottle left. So yes, it's fruity, it's cinnamony, and it's a little bit sickly. It's not something that I would vape on constantly, and it's probably not something that I would actually buy if I'd had a taste of it already. And it's probably not something that I would have bought in the first place just because of the picture on the bottle, because of my irrational fear of spiders. Go figure, I'm 6'5" and built like a proverbial brick outhouse, but I can't stand the little things. So yeah, it's an interesting one. It's nice, but it's a bit sickly, is really all I can say about it. And I think I've actually had quite enough of it now. So, sorry Vape Monkey, I have to say, you know, it's nice, but it's not for me. Anyway, let's go back to the studio. Bye. Juicy Juicy, Juicy Juicy.
Yes, that was the spider venom. And as I say in that VT, it's nice, but it's just a little bit too overpowering and sickly for me. I have to say, my bestest cinnamon vape is in here, and this is made by Mark Jones, and it's his cinnamon fire and ice, and it is very nice. And I have to limit myself because I've only had a small bottle last time I was at the knees meet. So Mr. Jones, next time I see you, more fire and ice, please. If you would like, if someone out there who likes cinnamon would like to try the rest of that bottle, send me an email, vaperscene@vaportours.tv, and I will send it to you. And you can then tell me what you think. Yeah. Anyway, it's 9:31. I'm very slightly over this week, not as over as I generally am. But there you go. Didn't waffle too much at the beginning. That is my last show for 2013. I'm going to be back on the 7th of January. But don't forget, tomorrow is going to be a big one with Dave and Sav talking about what's happening tomorrow after the press conference and all the things that we don't want to know. I was just looking now on my Skype chat because I didn't do not disturb myself. Never mind. Yes, don't forget, tomorrow night, VT Talk, 9 o'clock. We'll be going over all what has happened tomorrow. The Haze Out on Thursday, Dave's Taco Box on Sunday, and Tin Your Tip on Monday, or it might be something else because it is Christmas. I will see you next year. Yes. So until then, have a happy Christmas. Don't get too caught up in everything that's going on. Have a few days off, and then in January, come out all guns blazing. I will see you in 2014, friends. Tatty bye. Vaper Scene is proudly sponsored by Health E-Vape, UK purveyor of e-cigarettes and e-liquid.